I'm still looking miserable. Right, I'll try and look a bit happy. I've just grafted 3,000 trees, so I'm not the most happiest bunny in the pack. This little video clip we will call grafting, in brackets bench grafting, because we're doing it on a bench. We're doing it inside. See this lovely bench?
It's a beautiful bench.
Getting higher every year as my back gets worse. It's good to keep a really high bench. Also in brackets whip and tongue grafting, because that's the method that we use, and in brackets March, because that's when we're doing it. 3 in brackets.
Too many brackets.
A lot of brackets. This here is graft wood. We cut back, this time last year, last winter, we cut back our mother tree, the tree that we wanted. We cut it back hard in the winter. That meant loads of wood grew up. Loads of stuff like this. No fruit buds. Useless for fruit production, but good for wood production. We prune hard in the winter, we get lots of wood. This graft wood, we collected around about Christmas time. We cut it off and we stored it. We do it at Christmas time so that we ensure that there's no sap in the wood. This wood is empty. This wood is hungry. That's what they call it. Hungry wood. That's what we want. We've stored it on the north side of a building in a bucket of wet peat or wet sand, and it will keep like that, perhaps with a bit of plastic to keep the wind off. It will keep like that for several months. Or we could have kept it in the fridge. We could have cut it into lengths, put it in plastic bags and kept it in the fridge. If you keep it in the fridge, you get a longer period of use of your graft wood. If you do that, sometimes you can get a fungal infection in the damp conditions in the fridge. Don't mention my fridge, Sarah. Especially if it's as disgusting as my fridge.
I was just thinking that.
You can get fungal infections or any other horrible diseases. So if you're keeping it in plastic bags in your fridge, you might consider dunking your graft wood in a fungicide solution, for example copper sulphate or something nasty.
And then maybe keeping it away from your dairy products.
And maybe keeping it away from your dairy and other products.
Which normal people keep in their fridge.
Which normal people keep in their fridge. So that is the graft wood. We are going to graft the pieces of this graft wood onto rootstocks. The rootstocks will keep the tree small.
Can I help? You're looking confused.
I'm looking for... I had one.
There. Is it this by the cup?
This is a rootstock. This is a rootstock rather, chopped in half. When it came, this was a little tree. It looked like it was a little tree. They cost, if I buy them by the thousand, they cost about 60p. If you buy them, obviously much fewer numbers, they will cost more. Maybe a couple of quid even. I buy mine from Frank Matthews in Tenbury, Wales. You can look them up on the internet.
Nice bit of sponsorship.
Yeah, they came as little trees in bundles of 50. They came early in the new year. As soon as they arrive, I get my little chainsaw and cut them in half. I behead them. So the branchy bit has been beheaded and thrown away, and that's because all the sap at the moment is in the trunk, the lower trunk and the root system. So in effect, I've doubled my amount of sap. None of it's wasted by being in the top bit.
Going to work up there.
Now what we have to do is join a piece of this to a piece of that. If you look where I've cut this, hang on, where I've cut this piece of wood, you see here, that's wood, that's hard, and then we have the rind. In the middle of the rind is a light green layer. That is the cambium layer. The cambium layer is undifferentiated cells. They're the repair cells. They're the stem cells what we have in people. They're the cells that can callus, that can make repairs. If we join,
don't you count the numbers of rings in the cambium to age a tree? Isn't that the?
No.
Okay, don't listen to me.
Don't listen to her. The cambium layer is only just several cells thick, and it's where the repairs are affected. If we join the cambium from this, the graftwood, onto that, they will fuse together. They will unite, and they will callus and unite. To do it in such a manner that they don't fall apart, we've just cut this with a slicing cut, and then down the, there we go, about a third of the way down, we've cut a tongue, a split like that. Okay, this is a piece of graftwood of the same diameter. I've just cut this, and I've done a similar thing. About a third of the way down, I've cut through. When we push them together, there we go. When we push them together, because they're the same diameter, they have cambium to cambium contact. If your scion wood is a bit thinner, make sure that don't do it in the middle.
You've aligned it.
What?
That you've aligned your cambiums.
You align your cambiums. Thank you very much. So if it's a bit one-sided, always push it to one side so at least half the cambium is joining. This one here, you can see both sides is pretty good. What we have to do now is bind it together. Over here, see that? This is raffia. We could tie it up with raffia. This is what we did in the old days. We would then seal it with wax, grafting wax. We'd put this in hot water and paint this wax on, and that would go hard, and the grafting wax would hold it in place. More recent inventions was this grafting tape, plastic tape, clear plastic tape, which you can graft around and hold it together. It's the same tape, same plastic that Tesco's bags are made of. So if you're only doing a few, cut some Tesco's bags up.
The handles or the whole thing?
Well, the bag, the thin plastic bags. Yeah. It's the same kind of plastic. Another method to do it is to use these grafting rubbers. These are Dutch. Obviously, if we tied it together with these grafting rubbers, you'll get a tourniquet effect. So you get a really tight joint. And the rubbers are supposed to phytodegrade, break down in the sun. Because we don't have any sun in North Wales, they don't. These are very good if you're reworking a tree, if you're working outside, because they have a tourniquet effect. They're very, very tight. Most modern people like me use this stuff here.
Despite what your fridge would suggest.
Thank you. Use this stuff. This is parafilm tape. It's called medal tape or buddy tape. It's parafilm, it breathes and it stretches. Yeah? So, and it self-adheres. So when we tie our wood together, because it has a slight stretchiness, it will have a slight tourniquet effect. I'm leaving that bottom bud there. And as we twiddle it round to finish it off, it self-seals, it's stuck together. And the good thing about this is, this buddy tape, is that it breaks down. You don't have to go around several thousand trees with your little knife cutting the tape off or cutting the rubber off. This tree is now planted in a pot. Look at all these here. There's Joseph there rubbing out the ones we did earlier. The blue things, the blue dots you can see on these trees are